Jesus speaks about spirit. Into your hands I commit my spirit. He speaks about soul. My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. And he speaks about the flesh, the body that is weak, that can also be understood as your will. The flesh in the Bible means the body, but also the will. So we have this human trinity, body, soul, and spirit. As God is Father, Son, and Spirit, we are also a trinity. And how should we conduct ourselves? How should these three things conduct themselves? What is the hierarchy of these three, body, soul, and spirit, in us? You will understand this now. Pay attention. God determines in His Word so that you may live at peace, that you may live free from problems, with balance in your life, that you may not live as a tormented person, unbalanced, unwary, that we see many in this world. He determined that the hierarchy that we should follow in the body, soul, and spirit is the following. The spirit. What is the spirit? The spirit is the breath of God, God's intelligence, with the breath of life that glues body and soul. When God created man, the first man, Adam, he was a body lying on the floor and a living soul. When the Lord breathed the breath of life in his nostrils, then he lifted up, which means with the breath of life, which is the spirit, the soul and the body of the man became one. When the person dies, what happens to the body, soul, and spirit? The spirit goes back to God. The spirit, that is the breath of life and also intelligence that God gives us, it goes back to Him. It is not the soul. The spirit belongs to Him. It is Him who gives us. It's the gift of life. He gives and He takes away. So when we die, the spirit goes back to God. The breath of life goes back to God. You know what happens to the body. In a few hours, it becomes rigid and it starts to rot. It becomes dust. From the dust we came, to the dust we will return. So the spirit goes to God, the body goes back to the dust where it came from. What about the soul? The soul is you. The soul is your conscience, is your personality, is your character. It's you that inhabits this body. So the hierarchy, the right and correct hierarchy for you to conduct your life well should be your spirit submissive to the Spirit of God, to the Holy Spirit, which means your mind subject to the mind of Christ. When your mind is subjected to the Holy Spirit, and that's why it is necessary to be baptized with the Holy Spirit, then you follow God's will, as Jesus did in Gethsemane. Why did Jesus pray like this? Father, not as I will. If possible, take this cup away from me. Not as I will, but as you will. Who was asking for this cup to pass from him? Who? The soul of Jesus. Because the soul is the will. You see a conflict between his will and the will of the Father. He said, not as I will, but as you will. There are two wills. So he came as a man, so his soul wanted to avoid what was about to happen. Not only the pain in the body that he would feel, but the separation from the Father, to carry all sins from everyone in the world, from all times, upon himself, and to die, to be separated from the Trinity. God has never died. God is eternal. God doesn't die. But Jesus came as a man and he had to die, which means the Spirit subjects to God through reason and intelligence. Through your spirit, you can dominate your flesh. You receive the temptation. However, in your head, you can say, no, I don't want this. You can run away from temptation. The flesh is screaming, is asking for that temptation, but your spirit can say, I won't do it. Isn't that how it works? Yes or no? You can say to the spirit, I won't obey, but the spirit has power to dominate your flesh. You have this power. So in the hierarchy should be the Holy Spirit in control, above all, God, the Holy Spirit in control of my life. Under the Holy Spirit, my spirit, obedient to the Holy Spirit. My spirit, obedient to the Holy Spirit, can give an order to my soul and say to my soul, no, you won't have this. You want it, but I won't give it. As you say out there, you don't rule your heart. Indeed, the spirit of man, without being dominated by the Holy Spirit, when the heart wants, it makes the body, the spirit hostage. The heart puts a gun against your head and say, do what I'm telling you. Am I right? When the heart is in control, no one can control you. That's why people kill, prostitute themselves, throw themselves off a building, and say, this is what I want. And the person does it because the spirit and the reason is not in control of the soul, because it's not controlled by the Holy Spirit. So if the spirit of the human is subject to the Holy Spirit, they have power to dominate the soul. It is what God used in Gethsemane, when Jesus said for 3 times this prayer, asking God to take the cup away from him. Then he understood, I must surrender my body to. And there, when Judas and the soldiers came, Jesus said, it is with me, you can take me. And he surrendered his body to the soldiers. Then we see there, Jesus in Gethsemane, surrendering the soul, let your will be done and not mine, when the Father said, you have to take the cup. Then Jesus surrendered the body to the soldiers that later was crucified. Jesus surrendered his body, poured all his blood for us, which means surrendered his soul, the body, and in the last breath, he surrendered what? The spirit. Father, I put in your hands my spirit. Jesus' surrender was complete. Body, soul, and spirit. And why do people not receive the Holy Spirit? Because they don't give body, soul, and spirit. What should you do with this information? You should stop and ask yourself, am I aligned? Am I submissive? Or am I off track? Who is ruling me is my soul, is my body, the Holy Spirit. I have no idea what he wants. If you're all over the place, misaligned, then you understand why your life is so empty, all over the place. Put order in this hierarchy. If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.